You know what time it is. It's time to start fishing here in Ohio. Right now I'm doing some due diligence here on my part. I'm going to a fishing tournament tomorrow, the first one of the year for the 2022 fishing seasons for me, and it just kind of started off, I wasn't even trying to go to a tournament this weekend, but I need to get out and get some stuff off my mind and clear my mind. I had some crazy stuff happen over the last few days that's really really changed the way that things are happening. But I'm really proud of the way my YouTube channel is going. Right now we're just now broke 3,400 subscribers, so thank you guys very much. We are pushing for that 4,000 subscriber goal by the end of this year, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it if you would do so. I'm just going to show up and fish a tournament tomorrow with the Lewis County Lunkers guys. They don't even know I'm coming. I'm just going to show up and fish, pay my dues and fish. I don't know if I'll be fishing with them much this year, but I'm going to fish this tournament definitely. And it depends on what's going to happen on Sunday. I may fish with Lawrence County. Just see what happens tomorrow with the tournament. I'm right now doing what I tell you guys I do all the time. I'm doing my homework, trying to find a spot to start tomorrow. I figure the water temperatures are going to be in the 50s. It's been fairly nice this week. We've had a little bit of rain, but not near enough to cool the lake back down. So I'm thinking that's going to be in the mid 50s, probably 52, 53 starting out tomorrow morning, and then we're going to hopefully ramp up into the mid 50s as the sun gets higher in the sky and it warms the water up a little bit. So I'm right now digging through the Angler app on one screen here, and then I have a split screen of the Navionics chart viewer. And the Navionics chart viewer is allowing me to see this stuff. And I would show you guys the screen here, but you guys, see this all the time, me talking about it. If you're not using these two applications, it's something that you should definitely be using, especially for situations like this where you're actually breaking down a lake you've never been to. So I'm going to go out here, and again, I think the fish are going to be pushing into the creeks because we're getting into that close to pre-spawn time. I'm going to be looking for those steeper banks along those flats and things that I could be throwing some, I'm going to be throwing some 1.5s, some crankbaits. I'm going to be looking at some flat-sided crankbaits. You guys saw that in the last show that I've done live. A jig, definitely. Spinnerbait. I'm going to be throwing Greg Drown's tackle box spinnerbait from South Point there. You guys obviously get tired of me talking about that thing, but it's amazing. So I'm going to be throwing those baits. Won't be throwing any top water or anything tomorrow. I'm going to hopefully find some fish that are chasing tomorrow morning. And I feel like that the chasing bite may actually get better as the day gets on. The water temperature warms up a little bit. Again, I found a spot called Buck Creek that I'm going to start in. And Buck Creek is fairly large according to Navionics here. And the reason that I'm choosing to start here is the fact that there's a lot of water that is fairly shallow. It's super deep. There's also some flooded timber. But I'm going to be working my way back, all the way back into that creek and try to try to find my way to where I can catch a fish back in there. There's a weird slot limit here on this lake. And they do like it's like, I don't know, it's weird. I'll have to learn it when I get out there. It's like 10 to 12 inches. You can keep 2 of those, and anything over 15 or something is weird. But, I have a feeling that I can catch some of those smaller fish, throwing a wacky rig or something. I think it's going to be the bigger fish that's going to, make a play. There's some deeper spots in this lake that I've found that are humps and things that are going to be, coming up into shallower areas. And I'm definitely going to be checking those out as well. It looks like there's a couple humps here not too far from the ramp that we're using. That goes from 36 to 33 feet, somewhere in that area, all the way up to 15 to 12 feet in these humps regions. So that's definitely something I'm going to check out. There's a bunch of road beds in this area. A lot of shallow submerged things that I'm finding around. Again, there's a lot of submerged bridges in this lake that I'm finding on the Navionics app. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually marking points on my Angler app so I can pull it up on my cell phone. I don't have the luxury of having really high-end graphs. Right now I'm running 6-inch Humminbirds, which they're great graphs for 15, 16 years old. They're as old as my boat is. They do really well, but being able to mark points and things like that, it's just easier to do it here, pull up my phone, drive to where I want, and then mark them on my graph on the boat. So eventually I'll get to the point where I have some better graphs. I can just transfer these waypoints over. I could do that right now if I wanted to, just copy the waypoints over to like a GPX file and then copy it over. But I'm just digging through here and marking some points and trying to find a place to start tomorrow. And again, I don't know anything about this lake, but I am going to choose to check out Buck Creek and then down even past that. But I don't want to, again, there's a lot of submerged timber and stuff in here, so I can't really say what I want to do until I get there. But I have a feeling that I'm going to be spending a lot of time down around Buck Creek just to see what's happening. There's a lot of big flats, there's a lot of steep banks. There's one bank here in particular, show you right here. There's one bank right here. Really see this big giant flat in here in Buck Creek, but this is a channel swing bank, or you can see it's deeper right here. The channel runs along that right there. And you have this big flat down here. It's 20 foot deep here, right? But this is a big giant flat here, and this is a really good area for a fish to be submerging, getting up in here to spawn up in this big flat. There's road beds and creek beds in here. So this is definitely, all these little yellow things that you're seeing here on the screen, those are submerged bridges. So this is going to be the area that I start in right here, next to McIntosh Branch. Next shot, you know what's going to happen. You're going to see me at Speedway fueling up the boat, headed to down around Moorhead, Kentucky to Cave Run Lake in Kentucky. And we are going to go down and see if we can't throw some money in the hat and come back victorious. So let's go to Speedway and let's get after them. You guys are going to see a new view from my boat that you've never seen, and that's going to be from the Olatech Boom tomorrow, which is going to be about 8 feet off of the deck of my boat. So I'm pretty excited to see what that brings. Hopefully there's some hammer fish being caught on that view. If not, there might be some pretty scenery to see. Anyway, we're going to go fishing. First time 2022 fishing tournament tomorrow. Let's go see if we can lean on some hammers. Let's do it. Well, it's gonna be terrible. My camera's probably not gonna focus, so if it doesn't, there we go. We should be good to go now. Cave Run Lake, first time I've ever been here. We're fixing to find out if there's any fish in here. It's gonna be tough. Water is like 10 foot above normal pool. And it should be at winter pool still, so it's way up. Looking at the water right now, just from what I can tell, is pretty muddy. But you guys know how it is. Cold, muddy, tough this time of year, and that's what's gonna happen. We got here, and I'm just gonna throw some crankbaits around, spinner bait, see what happens. If I can't get bit, then I'm just gonna go smaller. I'm gonna throw a Ned rig, a few other things, see what happens. And hopefully walk away from this thing with the old W. I pulled a fast one on you guys. Told you guys I was going to go to Speedway this morning and show you guys a clip from there. Nah. Boys, it is going to be a good day. Let's go catch them. Well, boys and girls, you didn't see much of that run because the wind pushed my GoPro back. I didn't have it tight enough. I've never been here, guys. I found the first pocket that I found. It looks decent. We're gonna run and gun all day long until I start catching some fish. So let's do it. Man, that'll get your heart racing in the morning. Old root. murky and muddy. I picked up the Ned rig here. I don't know, it's gonna be tough today no matter what, but I think the lower end of the fish as far as like keepers, and I apologize if you can't hear, the wind's ripping. Smaller fish are gonna win this tournament today, I guarantee it. The water conditions today are more than tricky. 49 degrees right here. Coming to a place I've never been to before in my life, I kind of have to consider all things, water temperature, water quality, where these fish are going to be. So I've devised a plan to try to, bounce around through here, and I also come back in here to try to get away from the wind. The wind is absolutely ripping. It was pretty chopped up when I was coming across the water there. I'm gonna fish, my way out of here fairly quickly with some moving baits and see what happens. The whole point of this is trying to find a pattern that we can, fish the rest of the day, because again, I've never been to this lake before in my life. I did do some research last night, and we're not even close to the spot I wanted to start at, but this morning the wind was ripping, and I didn't know if that was going to be calm or if it was going to be chopped up there. So I wanted to stop and fish this little cove here. Throwing this jackhammer, trying to get a reaction strike, but with the water 50 degrees and murky like this, it might be tough to do that. So that little Ned rig that I was throwing is actually probably the bait that I'm going to stick with a lot today. I'm going to be throwing this Wacky Rig Senko here in just a minute for sure. I have one that I've poured myself there. You guys have been watching the show and watching the channel. You guys know that I've been pouring my own Senkos, and I'm going to try them out today. It's, again, really tricky water conditions. We're just going to have to run and gun and see what happens. Again, I'm fishing for 5 small fish. They have a weird slot limit here. It's anything from 10 to 13 inches as a keeper, and then from 16 over. 5 of any of that combination. You can't keep anything from 13 to 16. And we'll fish my way back in here. I think the fish are going to be pulling up into these creeks pre-spawn action, so I'm going to throw this jackhammer around this creek and get back out of here. Then I'm going to run down to the spot that I wanted to start at initially today, and see what happens. Well, I get the old heart racing again this early in the morning. Swapped it up to a little 3/8 ounce tackle box Goldie spinnerbait. Really, it's really tough. Obviously, it's water temperature's not even 50 degrees yet. Super muddy. Cold, muddy, tough. We're gonna throw the old spinnerbait at him, see what happens. After this, guys, I'm gonna go way back in one of these creeks here and hope I don't jack my boat up, but that's where I'm headed. Again, not being here, I don't know anything about this lake. There's a flat over here that I saw last night when I was looking through Navionics and stuff, and that's where I'm going in just a second. There was a boat over there a minute ago, but they went through there fairly quickly. I'm gonna go over there on that flat and throw a rattle trap, some crankbaits, drag a jig across there, see if there's one over there, pulling up to spawn. It's really early for that, but right now, not knowing this lake, I gotta try all options. Man, that felt good. That felt real good. How good? Real good. Ah, boys. You guys can see it or not, but that ain't supposed to be like that. Good thing is I got 9,218 more of them. That sure felt good. About 13.5 foot of water right here. This bank is one of the most shallow banks I've found on this whole entire lake right now. I haven't been obviously all over it, but definitely the shallowest. Real deep over here. The channel must swing in there, but I'm at a loss here, guys. Obviously not knowing this place any better than I do. I knew it was going to be a crapshoot coming in here. Still plenty of time. We'll throw this jig around for a while. Got the tackle box spinnerbait still tied on. I'm just going to try to find some high percentage spots and see if I can't find one. And again, I'm not fishing for a big fish right now. I'm just trying to get a fish to bite. And with the conditions, I'm sure you can hear the wind. It's going to be tough to get a fish to bite today at all. But I'm hoping I can find one. Guys, I know it's probably impossible for you guys to hear me, but right now, this is that flat that I was talking about. You can see there's trees and stuff in here. This is a spot that I found last night on Navionics. So I'm gonna fish this thing. The wind is absolutely ripping. The weather has dropped off. It's like 15 degrees colder than it was when we started this morning. It is absolutely, it's getting cold. I'm going around this way right here in just a second. This other creek. If I can't catch anything on this thing, I'm gonna throw a spinnerbait for a while, then I'm gonna get out a rattle trap and rip it across this flat. See what happens. Real slow day, but better than being home on the couch. What do you guys think about this new angle up here, the boom angle? It's not even as high as it'll go, but I think it rocks a little bit too much with the boat rocking. So the higher it goes, the more that arc is you know, exaggerated. So let's see if we can catch one, guys. Boys and girls, it's flat turned miserable in a hurry. I knew this lake was up. Brandon and them told me that it was up several feet. I don't think I've taken that into consideration all day. I saw a second ago when I was just fishing there, I saw somebody's brush hog at the water line, which one or two things happened there. One, somebody was on the bank and casted the brush hog out there and got it stuck. Two, somebody was on a boat. I apologize, guys, if you can hear that wind. It is absolutely ripping. But two, somebody has casted a brush hog from a boat into a tree. And either way, that thing was too high for somebody to reach. So I'm figuring this lake right now is probably about 12 to 14 foot above where it should be in normal pool, which is absolutely crazy. It is tougher than woodpecker lips out here today. Right now it's about almost 1 o'clock. Got about 2 more hours to fish, and I literally don't have a clue what I'm gonna do. I wanted to just throw this little Ned rig around. Ran up the river here a little bit, and it looks like the water's getting more dingy as I go. So I'm gonna fish this little creek right here. This little creek arm, it's not a creek arm, it's a little offshoot here. I'm gonna throw this Ned rig around in here. I'm gonna fish off the bank if possible with this wind. It's tough to throw a Ned rig in the wind anyway, but it is really ripping today. Probably blowing 25 solid with gusts of probably 20, or I'd say it's probably solid 15 with gusts 20 to 25 every now and again. Feels like snow. It is really, really chilly. You can see the water clarity is not so good, but I'm okay with it. 47 degrees. It is not warmed up at all. Actually, it was 48 where I started. I think I should have stuck in there a little longer. Water was clearing up a little bit in there. It was kind of deep. There was a little bit of water to fish in there. I was going to go back in there a second ago before I started back in this way right here, but I saw a boat run in there, so maybe I had it all right this morning. Oh well, like I said, we're gonna try to give it heck for the next 2 hours here and see what happens. I've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at them: spinner baits, jerk baits, crank baits, jigs, Texas rigs, wacky rig, throwing a Ned rig at them. The only thing I haven't thrown is a shaky head, and I don't think it's going to get bit either if that Ned rig's not getting bit. So I'm going to go to the back of this little arm here and throw that Ned rig around for a minute, and then if I can't get bit, I'm going back towards the dam and see if the water will clear up down that way a little bit and see what happens. Again, I keep saying and see what happens, but literally that's all about life, right? You just got to live and see what happens. But been a really good day today, guys. I haven't caught a single fish yet, but we're working on them. I don't know, who knows? We got 2 hours, let's make it count. Boys. Well, boys, that is not a keeper anywhere on the planet but right here. Measure this hammer out. Just got hammered myself. Oh yeah, whopping a little. Wait a minute. Yeah. Ten to 13 inches. This is 11 incher, baby. Making sure I wasn't being dumb there, but I ain't proud of it. That's a keeper. switched up to a black and blue net bait. I think this thing's called a Paca Crawl. I'm not sure. Texas rig, 3/16 ounce. Worm weight, Eco Pro tungsten. I was swimming that thing back to the boat and got hammered. This creek right here, I've seen more fish activity than I have the whole entire time I've been here. I saw a lot of shad and stuff up in here flicking. That's why I threw that spinner bait a lot a minute ago, thinking there would be some fish in here. But it's after 1 o'clock, guys. I got about an hour here to put 4 more with that. It's crazy. Anyway, that's one, guys. Get back in here. I feel like I need to lock my boat into 4-wheel drive. About 3.5 foot of water right here. Where I caught that fish a second ago was about 6 feet. But I thought since that fish was in there, I'd just give it the benefit of the doubt, come back in here. It looks super good in here. The water's a lot clearer than it is out. I mean, this is the clearest I've seen it all day. And again, I'm fishing where it's dry land normally, for sure. Well, ladies and gents, there it is. I caught one 11-inch keeper, and it's weird that an 11-inch fish is a keeper here, but it is. I had a really tough day today. Water was murky. Water's up 12 to 14 foot above summer pool. It should be right now at winter pool. It's probably close to 20 foot up from where it should be right now, which is crazy. The only thing I could get him to bite today, the only thing I could get a sniff on that I got a bite on today, was a net bait. I think it's called a Paca Crawl. I'm not sure. It's black and blue with a 3/16 ounce Eco Pro tungsten worm weight. Guys, I'm sure you guys are hearing that wind. I apologize. It's been ripping, but throwing that thing on a 7'2" heavy Poison Adrena with a Curado 200, 7-gear ratio, 16-pound Sunline FC Sniper fluorocarbon. Just talked to Brandon. He's got one. Probably going to beat me out. Hopefully people got more than that, but I got one little dink. We'll have to see what happens here. I'm going to put all my rods up. That's how you can tell you're on them, boys. Right here, look at that. That's how you can tell you're on them. I'll tell you one thing. I put my cover on my boat this morning because it was raining. But boy, am I ever glad I did. I don't know what I come through. Something, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's salt on my truck or what, but it is absolutely nasty. I don't know if you can see that stuff or not, guys, but it is gross. I don't know what it is, but it's all over my boat trailer. It's terrible. But I guess I'm gonna put my cover on the way home too. That way it doesn't get everywhere. But guys, first tournament in for 2022. I'm gonna guess I'm gonna get beat. I'll let you know if I win this thing. I'll just do a quick excerpt here, but I'm gonna guess I got beat. You know, best I can do is best I can do. So I caught one fish. I'm really not mad at it. It was a really decent day, better than being on the couch. Guys, I appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button if you like my content. If you like outdoor and fishing content, definitely hit that subscribe button. Going for 4,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So that's my goal. Let's put the rods up, get the boat cleaned up, put the cover on it, head back to Lawrence or Larry County, Ohio. If you guys can, get out there and lean on. We'll see you next time on Another Line.